illnesses, like sometimes my face hurts, or like my skin feels like I have a burn, or my fingers cramp up, just randomly. And this muscle spasm fit was kind of like a prolonged fibromyalgia flare-up, because usually they only last a few days. But this time it went on for, I think, like I said, about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. So I had to go see my doctor for the first time in a while, because getting an appointment was difficult, and also I'm pretty far away from my primary care doctor. And he gave me some muscle relaxants and some higher dosage Tylenol, and it totally just went back to normal. But while I was on bed rest, I was watching so many movies. I probably had, I think I had set up like days where I would either watch old reality television or YouTube for the whole day, or a movie day. And when you have a lifetime disease like fibromyalgia that isn't curable or is going to go away on its own, you kind of know the game plan ahead of time for when you're going to be unable to do anything for a while. And so it helps to plan out themes for days when you can't move. And try to make the best of it, which I think I did. You can't like cook or clean, so you kind of have to phase out like how messy your bedroom gets, and also keep like hearty snacks nearby. And use your biggest water mug, because you don't want to be going back and forth to the kitchen, and you need to stay hydrated when you're inflamed, because your body can't make, I'm not a biologist, but your body's not going to feel any better if you're not hydrated. But I did want to also rant. This is a coaster. I don't want to rant about the coaster. I was really excited because I had picked one of my days to be a Star Wars day. And I have Princess Leia here right now. I wanted a Star Wars day, but I was only going to watch the newest ones because I never watched the final one. I think I was too mad at Star Wars those movies was that they changed director and writers every movie. And it's like a too many cooks in the kitchen situation. And Hollywood has this way of like swapping people out at the drop of a hat and having nobody communicate with each other. Which honestly feels like the whole world at this point. But for the purpose of this rant, we're in pre-pandemic America. When did those movies come out? Did they start in like 2014 or 16? I don't know. But the pacing was just so completely opposite of the other between every movie. This coaster makes really nice noises. And that's just one of my biggest pet peeves is like big differences in editing. So like an example of this is like editing on cooking shows in the United States. It's like a lot of like public domain rock music and like fire effects and like knife sounds and like pots clanging sounds. Excuse me. And every shot is like a wide shot of chaos. But cooking shows in like the UK are like narrated by an elderly grandmother who is like reading you a bedtime story, and there's like birds chirping in the distance and like a brook running nearby and like soft breeze. And sometimes movie franchises, depending on who the editing team is, can have as drastic as a change as that, even in the same franchise. And so, going into my Star Wars day, where I was going to be in bed for probably like 24 hours, 23 hours, if you count all of the times that I would be getting up to leave the room for a few minutes. And I was excited. I really wanted to try to see that third movie, but I was watching the first one and I was just like, this is not good. And it's only going to get worse in the second one, because nothing in this movie mattered in that movie. And I know what happened in the third movie, and nothing that happened in the second movie mattered in the third movie. And they were all written by different people, and different directors made them. And there's not a lot of continuity. This is a Chuck Palahniuk book. Is it Palahniuk or Palahniuk? This is the re-release also. It came out in, I think, the early 90s, and it was in a totally different format than the author intended for it to be written in. So, the book is about a magazine model who suffers an injury that puts her out of modeling forever. And because the book is written to be kind of like a fashion magazine, it was formatted in a way where the last chapter was in the beginning of the book, and then the first chapter was at the end of the book. And you were supposed to flip back and forth. Through the chapters, and then follow the plot like that. I haven't opened this copy in a long time, and I'm realizing I marked a lot of them with an X. A lot of the pages with an X. I'm not at all sure why. I wonder, I think it might be coming back to me now that maybe like the foreword from the author I think mentions something about marking the chapters with an X for, maybe it was the early chapters or the ending chapters. I don't know. I'll ask my boyfriend. He'll explain it to me after. He'll figure out why I did that. But it's a really good book. I don't know if I concluded my thoughts about Star Wars. I ended up turning off Disney Plus after the first movie was done because it was just really boring. And I remembered how much dilly-dallying happens in the second one. And the second one is really long. I just couldn't do it. I think I'll just never see that third one. So, let's take these cuticle cutters. Let's cut any bad energy out of this new month of October. We're gonna cut all the ropes of negative energy out. Just real quick. Almost missed one. stars almost exclusively are just Carrie Fisher and Natalie Portman. And I don't know if people think this is blasphemy, but my favorite one of those movies is the second one from the prequels, when they go into the set from the No Scrubs video by TLC. It really speaks to me. I had an action figure of that tall lady. I don't remember her name. But it is a really ugly movie still. The first ones look so good. You know, like Star Wars from the 70s. They hold up visually so nicely. But honestly, just every movie right now is just really ugly. It's because CGI artists don't have a union. And Disney doesn't like working with unions. No movie companies do. So instead of hiring practical effects artists, or animators, they use cheap labor and go for the field of artists that don't have a union and are pressured not to unionize. And CGI is really hard to make look as good as the real thing. And that's not to devalue the work of CGI artists. It's not their fault that they are being forced to work in a box that they don't really fit into. Also, what the hell was that with when everybody was calling The Lion King remake live action? What was that? Animals don't talk or sing. It was CGI. That really bothered me. And here I am talking about how Disney screws over its workers. And I'm like, let me show you all this Ursula that I'm obsessed with. She's really glam. She's like padded. Like, not like padded, but she kind of has like Drag Race, like All-Stars 2. Like, no, not All-Stars 2, but All-Stars. All-Stars body wear. Her shape is like, and it's really sickening because it makes me want a KMS when Ursula doll balls come out, and they're too skinny. Ursula says it in herself in the beginning of The Little Mermaid that she thinks she's